The year 1959 dawned with a sense of both promise and trepidation. It was a time when the world stood at a crossroads, teetering between the remnants of the past and the possibilities of the future. The world was still grappling with the aftermath of World War II. Cities were being rebuilt, and nations were trying to heal from the scars of conflict. The Cold War cast a long shadow over global affairs, creating an atmosphere of tension and uncertainty. Political protests and ideological battles were the order of the day. Yet, amidst the tensions there was a palpable feeling that the world was on the cusp of something new. People in cities around the globe looked forward with hope and anticipation. This was a year of profound transformations. Global power dynamics shifted. Cultural norms were challenged. The winds of change were blowing, and society was beginning to embrace new ideas and values. Technological advancements hinted at a future that seemed both exhilarating and daunting. The early stages of the space race captured the world's imagination, promising new frontiers and possibilities. From the bustling streets of Havana, where political upheaval was brewing, to the launch pads of Cape Canaveral, where rockets soared into the sky, 1959 was a year that left an indelible mark on the course of history. The world watched with bated breath as events unfolded. Television and newspapers brought the latest developments into homes, making everyone a witness to history in the making. Would this be a year of progress or peril? The debates raged on, with contrasting scenes of progress and conflict playing out across the globe. Would the forces of freedom and democracy prevail over tyranny and oppression? The struggle for human rights and democratic values was more intense than ever. Only time would tell, but one thing was certain: 1959 would be a year to remember. It was a year that shaped the future, leaving a legacy that would be felt for generations to come. The Cold War loomed large over 1959, casting a long and ominous shadow across the globe. This period was marked by intense rivalry and suspicion between the world's two superpowers. The United States and the Soviet Union, locked in an ideological battle for global supremacy, continued their high-stakes game of chess. Each move was calculated, each decision weighed with the potential for global consequences. Each superpower sought to expand its sphere of influence while containing the other. This was not just a battle of ideologies but a struggle for control over territories, resources, and the hearts and minds of people around the world. The space race, a key arena in this Cold War rivalry, intensified. It was a demonstration of technological prowess and a bid for psychological dominance, as each side sought to prove its superiority. The Soviet Union had taken an early lead with the launch of Sputnik in 1957. This achievement sent shockwaves through the United States, sparking fears of Soviet technological dominance. This was followed by the successful launch of Luna 2, the first spacecraft to reach the Moon, in 1959. These milestones underscored the Soviet Union's commitment to space exploration and their desire to outpace the United States. The United States, determined to catch up, poured resources into its own space program. This led to a surge in scientific research and technological innovation, as America sought to reclaim its position in the space race. The Cold War also played out in proxy conflicts around the globe. These were often brutal and devastating as local wars became battlegrounds for the larger ideological struggle between the superpowers. In Vietnam, a communist insurgency backed by the Soviet Union and China challenged the US-supported government in the South. This conflict would soon escalate, drawing in more resources and leading to greater involvement from both superpowers. The seeds of a conflict that would escalate into a full-blown war were sown in the jungles of Southeast Asia. This was just one of many flashpoints in a world increasingly divided by Cold War tensions. 1959 was a year of significant political upheaval. In Cuba, Fidel Castro led a revolution that toppled the US-backed dictatorship of Fulgencio Batista. The Cuban Revolution sent shockwaves throughout the Western Hemisphere, raising concerns in Washington about the spread of communism in the Caribbean. Meanwhile, on the African continent, the struggle against colonialism continued to gain momentum. Several African nations achieved independence in 1959, marking a turning point in the fight for self-determination. In a move that expanded the United States, both Alaska and Hawaii were granted statehood in 1959. These additions not only reshaped the map of the United States but also underscored the country's growing global reach. The inclusion of these two geographically and culturally diverse states signaled a new chapter in American history. As the political landscape shifted, so too did the cultural terrain. The 1950s witnessed the rise of rock and roll, a musical genre that captivated a generation of young people with its infectious energy and rebellious spirit. Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, and Little Richard became icons of this new sound, their music challenging traditional social norms. Television, still a relatively new medium, was rapidly becoming a powerful force in shaping popular culture. In 1959, the groundbreaking science fiction anthology series The Twilight Zone premiered, captivating audiences with its thought-provoking stories and eerie atmosphere. The arts and literature also reflected the anxieties and aspirations of the age. Authors like Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, leading figures of the Beat generation, challenged conformity and explored themes of alienation and self-discovery in their work. Technological innovation continued at a rapid pace in 1959, hinting at a future transformed by scientific advancements. The United States launched Vanguard 2, the first weather satellite into orbit, marking a major step forward in meteorological science. In a development that would have far-reaching implications for the future of computing, the first integrated circuit, or microchip, was invented. This breakthrough paved the way for the miniaturization of electronics and the digital revolution that would transform the world in the decades to come. These technological advancements fueled both excitement and anxiety. The possibilities seemed limitless, but so too did the potential dangers. The world was entering uncharted territory, and the future remained unwritten. The allure of the small-screen television's expanding influence. Television was rapidly becoming a fixture in homes across America and the world in 1959. Families gathered around their black-and-white sets to watch popular shows like I Love Lucy, Gunsmoke, and The Ed Sullivan Show. Television was more than just entertainment, it was a powerful medium that could inform, persuade, and even shock. The televised debates between Senator John F. Kennedy and Vice President Richard Nixon during the 1960 presidential campaign showcased the power of this new medium to shape public opinion. For the first time, voters could see and hear the candidates debate the issues in their own living rooms. Television also played a role in raising awareness of social issues. The civil rights movement, gaining momentum in the American South, utilized the power of television to broadcast images of segregation and racial injustice into homes across the nation. The Seeds of Change, 1959's enduring legacy. As 1959 drew to a close, it was clear that the world was on the brink of a new decade, one that would be shaped by the events and trends that had unfolded during this pivotal year. The Cold War continued to cast a long shadow, but the seeds of change had been sown. The rise of rock and roll, the dawn of the space age, and the growing influence of television all pointed to a world in flux. A world where old certainties were being challenged and new possibilities were emerging. The events of 1959 would continue to reverberate for decades to come, shaping the political, social, and technological landscape of the world we live in today. A World on the Precipice, 1960 and beyond. As the calendar turned to 1960, the world held its breath. The events of the previous year had set the stage for a decade of profound change and upheaval. The Cold War showed no signs of abating, and the specter of nuclear annihilation continued to haunt the global community. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, there was also a sense of hope. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum, challenging centuries of racial injustice. The space race was inspiring people around the world to dream of new frontiers, and a new generation, raised on rock and roll and the promise of a brighter future, was coming of age. Conclusion: 1959, a pivotal year in history. 1959 stands as a pivotal year in history, a year that witnessed both continuity and change, both progress and peril. It was a time when the world was on the cusp of monumental shifts, with events that would shape the decades to come. The echoes of this year can still be felt in our modern world, influencing the way we live, think, and interact with each other. It was a year that reflected the anxieties and aspirations of a world grappling with the legacies of war and the challenges of a new era. The post-war world was evolving rapidly, with societies undergoing significant transformations. People everywhere were seeking stability and peace, yet they were also eager to explore new frontiers and possibilities. From the triumph of the Cuban Revolution to the launch of the first weather satellite, The year was marked by groundbreaking achievements and dramatic shifts in power. These events not only altered the political landscape, but also had far-reaching implications for science and technology. From the electrifying performances of Elvis Presley to the thought-provoking episodes of The Twilight Zone, popular culture was also undergoing a transformation. These cultural milestones captured the imagination of millions and left a lasting legacy that continues to influence artists and creators today. The events of 1959 left an indelible mark on the course of human history. Each moment, each decision, and each breakthrough contributed to the complex tapestry of our shared past. The impact of these events can still be seen in various aspects of contemporary life. As we look back on this pivotal year, we are reminded of the enduring power of ideas. The intellectual movements and influential figures of 1959 challenged the status quo and inspired generations to come. Their speeches and writings continue to resonate, offering insights and wisdom that remain relevant. The transformative nature of technology was also evident, as innovations from this year laid the groundwork for future advancements. Early space technology in particular opened up new possibilities for exploration and discovery, setting the stage for the space race and beyond. Understanding the past is crucial for navigating the challenges of the present and the future. By reflecting on the events of 1959, we gain valuable insights into the forces that have shaped our world. This historical analysis helps us to better understand the complexities of our current era and to anticipate future trends. 1959 may be a distant memory, but its lessons continue to resonate today. The year serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of history and the importance of learning from the past to build a better future. As we move forward, the events and achievements of 1959 will continue to inspire and guide us.